Hello everyone, this is Linkimus Prime, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Infinity Saga, Iron Man Mk-85, and Thanos Final Battle version figures. Now, I do just want to say expect to see a lot more Marvel reviews in the near future, and that is because I do have quite a lot of Marvel Legends figures in general. Don't expect to see just Marvel Legends reviews. I have Diamond Select figures, and I also have SH Figuarts figures that I do want to review as well. But for now, I am going to be focusing on Marvel Legends just a little bit more on my channel from now on. So anyways, we are taking a look at these two. And first, let us start by taking a look at the Iron Man Mk-85. And this figure looks absolutely amazing in my opinion. Some of the proportions do seem a little bit weird to me, but it is not too bad. At the same time, Marvel tried to do their best at making a seamless figure and giving him articulation, because the Iron Man Mk-85 suit does not have the seams like most other Iron Mans because it is nanotech armor, so it kind of goes around him in a symbiotic fashion. So you know, when it comes to trying to do something like that, I can understand, you know, that proportions are going to be a little bit weird, so not the biggest deal in my opinion. But moving on in some of that detail, there is a lot of really nice molded detail on this figure, as well as painted. And the head is, you know, your basic kind of head. You do get the red for most of it. You do get the gray on the sides. Nothing on the back, but that's mainly because it just kind of cuts off there. You can see that giant gap right there on the back, so I'm not the biggest fan, but it does play a part in posability later on. But the gold on the mask does look very, very nice, and the eyes are also very, very nice looking. They're kind of like a whitish blue kind of color, and it does kind of give a reflectiveness in a way, which does look really, really nice. We do get more of that gray painted detail. There is some like slight blue detail right here in these sections inside of the gray, which does look really, really nice. There's some gold paint like right in there, which they were able to kind of get in there as well. Some gold kind of going down. I do have some paint scratches on the arm. Nothing on that side, but you know, it's not the biggest deal. Just kind of wish there wasn't really anything there. The reason I say that's not a big deal is because this is supposed to be the final battle version, so you know, battle damage. But a lot of really nice gold, a lot of really nice grays. For comparison, here we have him next to the original Mk-85 figure that we got, and this one is supposed to be a lot more lighter, and this one is going to be darker since, you know, final battle version. So you know, you do get a lot of those lighter colors on the regular figure, which is more accurate to how he looked kind of more during the movie, I guess you could say. But you know, but yeah, a lot of really nice detail on this figure, if I do say so myself. And one other thing, the arc reactor is very nicely painted as well, and you do get the blue outlines around the white, which does look really nice. On the back, you know, pretty much same stuff, gray, reds, golds, all that kind of stuff. But yes, very, very nice figure in my opinion. And now let us take a look at his accessories, and he does have a very, very nice layout. You know, I did show off the regular armored head, so you don't really need to take a look at that. But these are the basic fisted hands that he does come with, and they are molded and sculpted pretty nicely, and they do have included paint on the backs of the hands as well. And then we do get these widespread open hands, which are for the repulsor blasts, so that, you know, they'll have the holes on the insides as well to accommodate for those guys right there. Pretty much same kind of detail on the outside, but we do get those. We do get this holding hand for holding certain weapons, but pretty much only this weapon right here. So we do get that. We do get the I am Iron Man snapping hand, and it is in the snapping pose, which does look really good. The stones are honestly kind of lackluster in terms of the colors, but it does look okay. And then we do get two alternative Tony Stark heads. We do get a regular Tony Stark head, which is really, really, really nice looking. This is probably the best Tony Stark head sculpt we have gotten in the Legends series by far. So this does look very, very good and very reminiscent of Robert Downey Jr. And we also do get the more banged up head for pulling off the I Am Iron Man pose, or just other kinds of battle poses. So that does look very, very nice. We do get his included hologram shield, which isn't a hologram. It's weird. I don't know how it works, but this is in 2023, so yeah. Now I do have some slight stress marks on the inside of this, so when putting it on, I would recommend putting it on the skinny end of the arm, or taking off the hand, popping it on, or basically sliding it onto the arm, and then putting the hand back on, just to avoid that problem. But it is molded very, very nicely, and I do like that nice translucent plastic look. So yes, we do get his blade, which is also very nice. It is molded in clear plastic and painted over with this really, really nice looking red. So, you know, not too much going on here, but it does look really, really nice. And then finally, we do get our blasting effects, which you can either peg into the bottom of the foot or on the hands for the repulsor blasting poses. So these are basic, but they do look really, really nice. So yeah. Now when it comes to the usage of the accessories, all we really need to do is, he does not really have a ball joint system. What this is this weird kind of peg system underneath the neck. So all we have to do is just align, there's like this line at the base of the neck, so we have to align that with this. So once you put it in, it'll pop in like so. It's a little harder than I thought, but there you go. And you can have the heads like so, and they are on a ball joint on the inside. It's actually a dumbbell ball joint, but it does get the job done. When it comes to the hands, you know, basic peg system, so just, you know, pop in each hand like on the inside of the hole, like so, like that. And, you know, we'll use the open hand for example, like so. And, you know, pretty simple when it comes to interchanging accessories. When it comes to some of the other stuff, you know, you can hold his blade kind of like this. You might have to kind of flex the fingers open like so, but you can get him to hold it like that. And like I talked about earlier, his shield, which I recommend putting on the skinny end and then just sliding up a little bit, which it doesn't really do much, but I don't want to risk breaking it. So if I want to get him into a certain pose, I'll just put it up like that. But, you know, accessories do work pretty decently. This one works a little bit better though, because, you know, this one is just floppy as hell, but, you know, it works, I guess. But yeah, when it comes to the repulsor effect pieces, all we got to do, you know, like I showed earlier, swap out the hands like so and like so, and just put on these guys. This one goes on this side like so, and like so, like that. And, you know, they are on a hinge joint, so they can move in and out as well. You can't really put them in a regular relaxed pose because they still kind of protrude out just a little bit, and you tell that they are the repulsor hands, but all you got to do is just peg them in. My only problem with this though is that it doesn't peg in all the way, and it does make it kind of loose, so that is pretty much the only issue. But like the other accessories, it does get the job done, and you can put him in a lot of really nice poses with these effect parts. So yeah, so that's pretty much just the usage of the accessories, and like I said earlier, gets the job done. And now let us talk about the articulation. So first, like I said earlier, we have a dumbbell ball joint in the head, or more so in the top of the neck. So it does allow for a lot of range. You can rotate his head all the way around, look up about that far and down about that far, and side to side as well. So that is pretty much the head. The arms can rotate all the way around, move out about that much and in about this much. There is a bicep swivel, elbow joint that can go up about that far and down that far. Hands can rotate, and they are all on a kind of hinge joint in the base of the wrist. So that is about it for the arms. We do have a bit of diaphragm movement right in here. There is no waist swivel, but that's okay because this does accommodate for that. So you can crunch forward that much, back that much, and a little bit side to side as well. You can kick forward, not too much honestly, so I'm not the biggest on that. He can't really kick back even at all. There is a thigh swivel, which is pretty tight. There is a knee bend, which is okay, and then there is also a swivel at the foot, and it can go up and down, not too much, but decent. So that is pretty much the articulation, and the articulation on this figure is pretty good. So now that we have pretty much all the aspects of this guy out of the way, let us talk about the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. Now this figure is a repurpose of the former Build-A-Figure that we had for the Endgame line, and what I mean by repurposed is there's a lot, or not really a lot, but they have changed some things about this figure from this version of this figure. For example, we have a more accurate look on the battle damage version. So another thing as well is this front tarp right here was remolded to look more accurate. Another thing is now this figure did not have a pivot at the foot. All it did was rotate. On this figure, we actually do get a pivot, which works a lot better. But the one thing that did not transfer in terms of renewing this figure is we still have no waist swivel. So, but not the biggest deal, but what am I kidding? That still will bother me in general, because this was their chance to give him a waist swivel. But I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Some other mold changes as well is, the arms are a little bit more accurate. Now, he doesn't have the arm armor on the shoulders or anything like that, but, it's battle damage version, so you can't really expect anything. This version had the Infinity Gauntlet, which was not accurate to the movie, and he also had an inaccurate sword, whereas this version has a much more accurate sword. The difference, this is a lot better. But I will go over accessories later. So a lot has been changed on this re-release of the figure. Backs are pretty much the same. This one is, kind of slightly remolded, but that's mainly for battle damage purposes. And we do have a lot more paint on this figure. So when it comes to the better Endgame Thanos, this is definitely the better one. And now let us talk about the detail on Thanos here. There is a lot of really nice molded detail on this figure, and a lot of really nice painted detail as well. I will say some of the paints don't really match up that well, but not the biggest issue. And for whatever reason, I have this weird kind of paint stain on a very unfortunate spot. But that is okay, I guess, because this is battle damage, so, if there's paint scuffage or anything like that, just take it as battle damage. But a lot of really nice molded detail on the kind of damaged chest area, which does look pretty nice, although I will say, when it comes to the paint, it just looks like they kind of, but battle damage. So same thing on this arm, a lot of that kind of damaged metal effects in terms of the armor parts. Nothing really much in terms of damage on the legs, but that is okay. On the back, we do get a lot more of that damage effect, as well as on the gray and on the gold on the back, so that does look pretty nice, and as well on the shoulder armor as well. And my favorite part, the Nano Gauntlet. This is the best version of the Nano Gauntlet we have gotten on a figure, and it really does show, because a lot of our other Nano Gauntlets, were not accurate, and this one is finally accurate, and it looks absolutely outstanding. A lot of the detail and a lot of the painted detail looks really nice, although I will say stones on this one still look lackluster, but not too terribly bad. And he does come with the fisted pose as well. So we don't really get any alternate Infinity Gauntlet hands. We actually don't really get any alternate hands in general, except for the I am inevitable snapping pose, and that's about it. So we don't really get like an extra hand or anything like that, like on this side, or and I do kind of wish that we had like an interchangeable arm, I guess, before he acquires the Nano Gauntlet, but beggars can't be choosers. I'm not going to complain about that, because I'm just glad that we have a definitive Nano Gauntlet finally. So yeah, just a lot of really, really nice detail. Proportionately, he does look good. And also going in on the face sculpt. Now, this is the same exact head sculpt that we got on the endgame Build-A-Figure Thanos figure. So, there's nothing really new in terms of the head, but going in on the detail, I feel like they added just a little bit more painted detail. I'm not too sure on that, honestly, but it does look pretty good. The helmet is pretty much the same. No battle damage on the helmet, but that is pretty much before he loses it in the battle. But yeah, no, this is a really, really, really nice looking Thanos figure, and I'm just glad that Hasbro took the opportunity to at least make him look more accurate. But like I said earlier, just wish they gave him a weight swivel. And now let us talk about Thanos' accessories, and he does have a lesser layout, but not too bad. This isn't really all of them, but I already showed off the Nano Gauntlet hand and the helmeted head. So this is pretty much just the other accessories that we have. We do get 3 alternate heads. We do get this basic one, which does have a little bit more painted detail, but this is just like a regular kind of serious looking head, which does look very nice. We do get a smiling head, which does have a little bit more panel lining detail, and that does look pretty nice as well. And then we do get a included dusting head. Some of the dust just doesn't really translate, or just like the paint just doesn't really translate very well when it comes to the dusting parts, and his eyes are slightly just misprinted, but that doesn't really matter all that much in my opinion. But we do get like some of the scars and scratches and all that kind of stuff on this head, and it does look pretty decent. Like I showed earlier, we do get his included sword, which is finally accurate, and it does look absolutely outstanding. I do have a weird gold splotch of paint right in here, but that's nothing that isn't fixable. And then a lot of the really nice molded detail as well is outstanding on this piece. And I do like the handle and the way the handle is sculpted as well. Like, that is also amazing in my opinion. So really nice sword, and we finally get an accurate one. And finally, for his last accessory, we do get the I am inevitable hand, which does not have the infinity stones in it, and it is in the snapping pose as well. And we do get just like a basic hinge joint right here at the base. So pretty decent layout for Thanos in terms of accessories. So yeah. Now, in terms of accessory usage, all we got to do is pop off the head and interchange it with one of these. I'm just going to use the serious face, because we kind of see that quite a bit in the movie. But all we got to do is just pop that on there. For his sword, just pop that in his hand. It is a little hard to keep the sword in a stable pose, mainly just because it kind of flops around a lot. But if you can get it in there in a certain direction, then it will do the job very well. But this just looks absolutely amazing in my opinion. Just the way he stands with all of this stuff just looks absolutely amazing. And with the smiling head and the snapping fingers pose, you can also get the I am inevitable pose. Now when it comes to his posability, we do get a ball joint at the head, which allows him to look up that far, but it's mainly just accommodated by this hinge joint at the base. So the ball joint doesn't really do too much except for allow rotation. We don't really get any side to side, and that's just because of how the ball joint sits, so not the biggest deal, but kind of wish there's a little bit more range in that area, but not the biggest deal. We do get a crunch in the waist, which allows him to go down and up about that much. We do get a hinge joint in the arm, which doesn't really do too much. It does a little bit more on this side, honestly, mainly just because it doesn't have that armor bit, but you know, kind of inconsistent, not too bad. We do get a bit of rotation right here at the arm, so it can go all the way around. We do get a joint at the elbow, which can only go about less than 90 degrees, but not too bad, mainly just because of this gauntlet area as well, and a swivel at the hand, and it is the same on both sides. We don't get anything in the waist, like I said, still painful. The legs can kick forward about that much, so pretty, you know, he has a pretty decent kick. It does just get a little bit hindered if you can't really, you know, put it up a little bit more. You can't really push it to the side, mainly just because of this this tarp, but not the biggest deal. We do get a swivel at the thigh, a hinge joint at the knee, so the knee can it can bend pretty far, which is pretty nice. So you can go forward like that. The foot is finally on a proper kind of joint, so it can swivel, it can go up and down, and it can also finally pivot pretty far. So we do have a better range of movement on this figure than we did on the last figure. So posability on this figure is actually really good. And when it comes to the final snap pose, these two do look absolutely great together. And for a quick size comparison, here we have the Marvel Legends Thanos and Iron Man 2-pack next to the Marvel Legends Moon Knight, McFarlane Battinson, so I did customize him, Bandai Godzilla 2019, Voyager Class Premium Finish Optimus Prime, Hammond Collection Baryonyx, and the Robot Spirits Evangelion Unit 1. And for my final comments on these figures, I'd have to say that these are probably by far, and dare I say it, some of the best Avengers Endgame Marvel Legends figures we have gotten from Hasbro. While I do have certain problems with these figures, most of them have to do with QC issues, except for one of those, which, I will say it again, is the lack of waist swivel on Thanos, which, in my opinion, Hasbro had the chance to fix, but they didn't. Now, I will say, probably because of the way that it was molded, it would have been hard to incorporate one, and if that's the case, then I will give them a bit of slack on that part, but I still feel like it could have been doable. But in terms of detail and paint on these figures, I absolutely love how these guys look. The accessories are very good for what they are. You don't get too much, you don't get too little. So when it comes to that aspect, I do absolutely love that. When it comes to price, though, that's a little bit something different. I'm pretty sure these go around for like $50-$60. So price wise, but you're getting, in my opinion, you're getting your money's worth. So if you can find this set, I would highly recommend picking it up. So anyways, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this review. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.